Get ready for the action, because Jonas Folger is facing a monumental task as he steps into the shoes of the injured Maverick Vinales at this weekend's French MotoGP. Folger is jumping back into the fierce world of MotoGP after a 3-year hiatus, and he admits this is going to be a big challenge to get close to the 2026 regulars. We break down everything we know about his preparations and what it means for the Tech 3 team.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the incredible performance of KTM factory rider Pedro Acosta, as he declares his RC16 is spectacular in the rain ahead of the French Grand Prix. Acosta is making a bold statement about how the bike handles wet conditions, and we explore what his teammate Brad Binder is saying about the progress made in recent tests to see if they can find that crucial dry grip. Now, we dive into the pressure cooker facing Marc Marquez, who openly admits he cannot think about the MotoGP title until there have been significant improvements to his bike. Marquez is teasing upgrades for his Ducati for the French Grand Prix, saying he needs to fix consistency before he can compete for the championship. Finally, we examine the deeper struggles of Marc Marquez as he details the consistency issues he is facing, despite having come out of worse situations. We discuss what Marquez believes is holding him back and whether the forecast rain at Le Mans presents the perfect opportunity for him to finally find that winning edge. Stay tuned for the full breakdown. Jonas Folger faces a significant challenge as he prepares to replace injured rider Maverick Vinales at the upcoming French MotoGP event. Folger is returning to MotoGP after a 3-year hiatus, and he acknowledges the task ahead will be demanding. Having last ridden an RC16 as a stand-in for the Tech 3 team in 2023, Folger is stepping back into a familiar environment, knowing the team personnel well, which eases some aspects of the transition. However, he stresses that closing the gap with the current regulars will be difficult. Folger expressed well wishes for Vinales' swift recovery. He noted that his time on the bike had significantly lapsed, with his last substantial riding experience being in 2023 with Paul at the same team. He emphasized that the KTM motorcycle has undergone substantial changes since his last ride, including significant updates to the chassis and aerodynamics. To prepare, Folger undertook preparatory testing laps at Mugello earlier in the week, which he deemed crucial for getting acquainted with the machine again. Despite the preparation, Folger admitted that 2 days of testing were insufficient. He stated that the upcoming weekend will be dedicated to learning the new bike, adapting his riding style, mastering the tire characteristics, and establishing efficient collaboration with the team. Folger also highlighted the personal significance of the French Grand Prix, noting that Le Mans holds special memories for him, as it was the site of his first Grand Prix podium in the 125cc class in 2009, and it remains a legendary, high-energy event for the Tech 3 team. KTM factory rider Pedro Acosta has expressed strong confidence in his RC16, labeling it spectacular in the rain ahead of an upcoming French Grand Prix, where heavy rain is forecast. Acosta stated in Spanish that the bike performs best in wet conditions. This outlook aligns with the weather forecast for the French race, suggesting a potential repeat of last year's wet Sunday race, with partial wet conditions expected on Saturday. Despite the wet conditions, both KTM factory riders, Acosta and teammate Brad Binder, remain optimistic about the team's competitiveness in dry conditions this season. They pointed to positive developments observed during the recent Jerez test following the Spanish round. The riders are specifically targeting a dry Friday to gauge performance in comparable conditions. Brad Binder shared his excitement, noting that the Jerez test revealed improvements, particularly in bike calmness on throttle and better grip, alongside cleaner braking areas. While acknowledging that he did not capitalize on a sprint opportunity at Jerez due to the rain, Binder stated he would not rely on wet conditions in France, expressing quiet confidence for the weekend. He emphasized that improvements focused on stability and handling. Acosta echoed these sentiments in an English media briefing, confirming that updates from the Jerez test provided small but important improvements related to turning and stability, which helped mitigate issues he experienced previously. Acosta highlighted that the test results indicated that the updates were incremental but effective, suggesting the bike was beginning to perform as expected. Acosta has secured 2 podium finishes this season, in Thailand and the USA, in addition to a sprint victory in Buriram. Binder has consistently battled alongside his colleague, achieving a best result of 7th place. Marc Marquez has signaled a clear priority shift, stating he cannot focus on the MotoGP championship title until improvements are made to his bike. The reigning world champion teased potential upgrades for his Ducati during the upcoming French Grand Prix at Le Mans, emphasizing the need to address current inconsistencies in performance. The statement comes as Marquez enters the 5th round of the season trailing by 44 points, following a recent crash at the Spanish Grand Prix. While Marquez has secured 2 sprint victories, he is still seeking a Grand Prix podium in 2026. Marquez indicated that the planned upgrades are aimed at refining various aspects of the machine, including working on bike balance and testing different layouts and conditions, such as those found at Le Mans. Honestly speaking, first of all, before thinking about the championship, we need to fix a few things, he explained. He admitted that while he shows speed in certain moments, he lacks the necessary consistency. Regarding the recent incident, Marquez confirmed he is suffering no ill effects from the crash at Jerez, describing it as a fast but manageable incident that provided valuable learning experiences. He highlighted the subsequent Monday test as positive, stating they are focusing on continuing this momentum and specifically targeting consistency, which he identified as his current main area for improvement. Marc Marquez has admitted that despite overcoming difficult circumstances, he currently lacks the necessary consistency to contend for the 2026 MotoGP title. The reigning world champion is heading into the French Grand Prix without a Sunday podium finish this season, marking his 4th-place finish in Goiânia as his best Grand Prix result. Marquez began the season facing challenges stemming from an injury sustained at the Indonesian Grand Prix in October. Speaking at Le Mans, Marquez stressed the need for significant improvements. "I've come out of worse situations," he stated, but added, "We have to fix several things if we want to fight for the world championship. We've shown we have speed but not consistency. The results show that there is speed, but there is no consistency. So that's where we have to fix or try to understand why we are missing this consistency, which last year was our strong point in all kinds of conditions and in all kinds of tracks." While Aprilia has dominated the early part of the 2026 season, with Marco Bezzecchi securing multiple victories, Ducati's performance has been less dominant, directly impacting Marquez's championship prospects. After the opening 4 rounds, Marquez has accumulated 57 points compared to Fabio Di Giannantonio's 71 for VR46. His brother, Alex Marquez, closed the gap by 3 points after securing Ducati's first victory at Jerez. Marquez firmly placed the responsibility for his performance on himself, refusing to assign blame to the team. "I'm never going to blame the bike for the problems, and the team won't blame them solely on the rider," he asserted, noting that a Ducati win in Jerez proved the bike's capability to win, making improvement his sole focus. Marquez identified the front end of the bike as a key weakness during testing at Jerez, as well as difficulties in left-hand corners, an area where he has seen a marked slowdown compared to the previous year. He emphasized the importance of dry track conditions, stating, "If you are waiting for the rain, it means that you are not fast in the dry. So we hope for dry conditions. It's better to have dry conditions. Wet conditions are always a kind of lottery." The upcoming French GP weekend features forecasts for rain, which could potentially level the playing field. However, Marquez expressed a preference for dry conditions, aiming to improve his performance in the dry phase of the weekend.